The coaches tell that the red nucleus will choose the definition of the nucleus that is collected 6 types of devil nucleus from the battlefield. The most common among the 6 is red, yellow, green, and red-blue. It represents strength, and yellow represents defense, and green represents healing, and blue represents the speed. And the rare among them is the purple, which represents the illusion, and the black that represents the place and time. This is called vaccination, and the most important is the strength of the will of the will of the will determines the criterion of the individual's tolerance for the nucleus of Satan and also determines the synchronization rate, which leads to the success of the vaccination. One of the laboratory workers asks, "Aang, are you ready to tell them?" While he is confident of himself. "Yes, let them start, please." In the relaxation room, they reach a strong radiation from Aang. Jojo Yuhei says in itself, "This is a strong reaction. This is because of him," says Aang. "Open your eyes and listen to me by cursing you all." Because it seems that brother Aang was hiding his true strength. The synchronization rate is increasing quickly. He escalated immediately to 40%. The power of Anij increases until it reached 60%. The coach looks at him and says, What is happening? What is this crazy synchronization rate? From where did the mistake happen?" The coach says it is still increasing. It has reached 80%. "What is this?" Seen by his colleagues and say, "What is happening? There must be a line in the device." Aang says to himself, "I am the king, who is known to everyone as the strongest warrior. Had it not been for this nucleus very low, and had it not been for this body to be very weak, my condition alone would make you hide. You, comrades, this is the difference between us. You young people." Suddenly, the energy is dispersed from his body and screams from the pain. "No," one of the doctors says, "Stop, this body cannot withstand the rite of hell, as there is something wrong in this device." The doctor looks at the device and says that the rate of the synchronization decreased immediately to 10%. One of the coaches says to the leader of the report, he now discovered that the Satan nucleus is broken. It is likely that it is an abnormal type, which caused a problem with the data, and this was shocking. The leader says, "Is the device a problem?" "Well, the synchronization rate is 10% in the end." "So does the doctor say yes, just enough to pass?" Aang says to himself, "I knew that happened because the nucleus of a demon." It was unnaturally saying, his colleagues and themselves. Yes, looking at his weak body, it is unreasonable to obtain such a frightening force. This synchronization rate is almost equivalent. He goes because to Aang to reassure him, "You are fine, brother Aang." He does because he transferred him to the restroom. Says Aang, "I have really competed against these young, but fortunately succeeded." In the restroom, Aang says, "What happened? I felt as if all my energy was dissipated. Judicially did not happen before. With my will, I must be able to obtain a coincidence rate of at least 80%. Even this low rate should not fade. So why, wherever he is immersed in thinking, the leader arrives and says, so that you can all stand up to his straightness. Congratulations to everyone. Now you will take the last tour of the test. I hope that everyone can pass the test safely." That one of the coaches shouts on them and says, "So lined with your arrangement in the list, and move to the 3rd test area now." The leader looks at Anij while he is exhausted after the choice. The leader looks at his place and finds the nucleus. "Let me see your performance in the next tour in the hunting test." Behind the wall in the fog, after gathering in the city's yard, they are waiting for the commander's orders to open the gate. The commander commands to open the gate to go out to train to hunt the demons. They say, the trainees in themselves, "My God, it is the first time in which I got out of the city. I think everything is located in fog behind these walls." Aang says, after this 60 years, everyone has lived in isolated areas like this. The leader says, "Stop speaking and move quietly if you have this amount of energy. So use it to verify your equipment first. So do not blame fate if you pass away." Anij says that the nucleus of another force has been given, yet I do not think that the problem was in that nucleus. When the rate of the synchronization declined, it seemed there was something inside me rejecting the nucleus. What is the kind of this case? Is it from the punishment for traveling through time that comes out of the city's gate? A directive from the authority of Satan, which is inside anal. It is felt by all demons on the ground. One of the demons appears. He says that there is impossible. There is a devastating monster more higher than me. Enij says to himself, what is this? For the moment, my interior self seemed deeply resonant with the world. Seto says, will she be accused of going, or not? He says to her, this is my mistake. He says, because what engaged you, Anij? You say the coach. You are in the back. There are 4 of you, right? You will be one group if everyone is prepared, so come quickly. The monument of the stone excitement is a black statue built from the stone. From the stones used to construct one of them with a special structure, capable of scattering fog. The 3rd test coach says he is conducted in groups of 4. I am sure that you, comrades, are aware of the details already. The test is hunting behind the walls in the midst of fog. We will now distribute the elements that each group must possess. A combat dagger and a shield that is scattered by miniature fog made from the same stone used in the monument of stone excitement. Your test is simple. Enter the fog until you reach the lit area. They prepared a shield that was scattered by mini fog and hunted the devil monsters. The performance of everyone will be held according to individual capabilities and teamwork, and therefore you will give your degrees good luck to each group. Fishing behind the walls amid fog is the last thing that every beginner must confront in this world that is already devoured by fog. The dangers that the warriors await are hidden in order to become a warrior that does not require fitness and efficiency only. Rather, it requires a steadfast heart and mentality to confront the risks behind the fog and confront the unknown, to work with your colleagues and his compatibility, and the acquisition of the vision and the killing of the devils that appear on your sight, and finally do its alignment to get the title of the warrior. The coach ends the evaluation of the first group and the second group. Orders to prepare themselves. One of the coaches is one of the coaches. There are quite a few beginners and talented people, but my goal is clear. I am only interested in Sito Liu. The second commander in the Helios Dada Jiao area says the first commander of the Helios Kiao Air region may become the mutants of the fighting families. The third commander, Tan, says there is another person who is noticeable. His broken nuclei has been carefully examined and had no mistake. The second leader of the Helios Dada Jiao area says, then what happened to him? Exactly what you think, Tang. The third leader says, do not call me this name. The first leader says, the only person. What makes you the blush red is Zhao Alice. Tang. Zhao says the degree of diabolical monsters has been checked. Isn't it incomplete devil monsters within the evaluation range? Leader Tang says, do not worry to maintain their safety. We took several days to make sure that the area surrounding the Helios area, it does not contain a complete demonic monster. Commander Kiao Airhai says if there is one right, we will have to sacrifice everything to protect future warriors.